And then can you tell us who's present?
Who is present? I'm sorry, Jeffrey Garber is our newest member. Meet Jeffrey Garber. There is David McGlone, Brian Carroll, Brian York, Anthony DiGregorio, and Joe Kikta. Can you not see everyone?
Me?
Dave? Yeah.
No, I just see you.
Really?
Yeah.
You probably have it on speaker view.
I sort of like it that way.
Oh, okay, so I'm filling your screen right now, right?
Yes, you are.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay, I'm going to let Jill in.
All right.
She is the only member of the public waiting. Hi, Jill. Okay, so we are recording right now, and you can begin at any time. And the first order of business, of course, should be to choose a chairman.
I'll nominate David McGlone for chairman.
I'll second that nomination.
Thank
Is that
you.
okay with you, Dave?
Yeah, I'll accept. Thank you. Jeffrey, thank you very much.
I guess we got to do a roll call vote for that, right, Katrina?
Yep. So in the staff report, I gave you a little script to follow. So you can just read that. So someone is nominated. Are there any further nominations? If not, you could close the nominations for chairman. And all those in favor of Dave McGlone as chairman. So you can say that or just say.
All right. Well, you know, in terms of, are there any other nominations for chairperson besides myself?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Because Brian, you're next.
No.
You are. Don't go anywhere, man. All right. So does anybody want to move that Jeffrey Garber's nomination of me to a vote?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move the nomination of Dave into a vote.
I'll second that.
And then a roll call vote. And do you want me to just call out as I see the members?
Yeah.
Yes, please. The chair pro tem designates you to call out the member's name, please.
Okay. Jeffrey Garber.
Yes.
Wait a second, I'm sorry. Who is voting here? Nick Benugli is not at the meeting, so you have to appoint either Anthony or Joe as a voting member.
So do we have a motion for?
You can just appoint them.
All right, so I will appoint Anthony and Joe Kikta, both of them, and together and severally as voting members for this evening.
You only need one.
Well, I think we should go with two if we can.
You can't. You just need 5 members.
Well, I think Anthony, you have seniority, so I will appoint Anthony DiGregorio as a voting member for this evening.
Okay, so Jeffrey Garber said aye. Anthony DiGregorio, what is your vote?
Aye.
Brian York? Oh, you're muted.
Aye.
Brian Carroll, you're muted also.
Aye.
And Dave McGlone.
Aye.
Okay, we have a chairman.
Okay, so I will now call to order the July 8th.
But Dave, the chairman's responsibility includes shaving the beard.
This beard was heavier before. What you're reacting to is my overly long hair, which was not present before the present disconcerting pandemic. So I look a little bit like Gordon Gekko, and apologies to everybody. I'm a little bit more touchy than people with this whole germ thing, so I have not had a haircut. So I'll now call to order the July 8th, 2020 meeting of the Middleton Planning Board. Please be advised that all meetings are video recorded and broadcast live to the public, and that statement is nunc pro tunc to my previous appointment. And thank you very much for the confidence of this board. and I've enjoyed working with you folks tremendously. So I think you have the agenda up before you.
Mhm.
Can everybody still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So first on the agenda is the minutes. Has everyone read the minutes?
Dave, I think we need a clerk.
Okay, so we'll appoint a clerk. Do we have any volunteers to be a clerk?
So Nick Benugli did volunteer to be a clerk, even though he's not here. He is your clerk right now, too.
All right, so we'll appoint Nick Benugli as the clerk. Do we have a clerk pro tem for the evening? Does anybody want to read the correspondence? I'm not aware of any correspondence this evening.
Um,
Yeah, I'll read the correspondence.
Thank you, Brian York. That was you, Brian York, correct?
Yeah, and I'll make a motion to nominate Nick to be the clerk.
Do we have a second?
A
I'll
second.
second that.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
um,
Should we
and
go
you
down?
have to do a roll call vote again.
Roll call. Jeffrey Garber, you in favor of appointing Nick Benugli the clerk
Yes,
of the Town of Middleton Planning Board?
yes,
Brian York,
Aye.
Brian Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. DeConcor.
Aye.
So I think that carries.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So we'll go to the minutes. Has everybody read the minutes?
I have.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on June. Katrina, that was June.
June 3rd.
The June 3rd minutes. Are there any motions to approve those minutes from June 3rd?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 3rd, 2020.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Garber.
I'll abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
That's good move. Mr. York.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. DeGregorio.
Aye.
And I vote aye. And I believe the motion will carry.
Mhm.
All right. So we have, I think on the next order of business is the reorganization of the board beyond the chairpersonship.
Can you see the agenda?
I can.
You can't? Oh.
No, I can. I just don't know. You know, I'm thinking, do we want to recognize and congratulate Mr. Garber for being part of the board? So I think there's a quick thank you and welcome to the board to Mr. Garber, who does so much for this town.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
But thank you. You know, I think the voting process for me as chairperson was part of that. So I just want to get that business is more not official. So we've gone through the minutes. So we have a ZBA recommendation, and that is, from what I can see, 26 to 30 River Street. Katrina, there was in the preliminary agenda that you sent us, there was something about 108 South Main Street, the Marmaduke dog business.
Right, that is not on the agenda because it does not have a site plan review attached to it. That was on there originally, and then I realized it was just a special permit, no site plan.
Okay, so that is not an item of business this evening.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna go right to 26 to 30 River Street, this is. Can you put the agenda back up?
Oh. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can. So this is a ZBA recommendation for a special permit for outdoor storage and site plan review. And this is a separate item of business that we've recently handled. Katrina?
Yes, it is. It's, so you just approved the preliminary plan and the definitive subdivision plan to create the roadway. So creating the roadway is what is allowing him to apply for a special permit to create this outdoor storage area. But Attorney Mann can explain that when she presents this.
Okay, is Ms. Mann ready to be heard on this?
I am.
Okay.
Good evening, Jill Mann here on behalf of Joaquin and Maria Lima as trustees and individually. They are the owners of 2630 River Street. And as this board recalls, and as the chair just aptly described, we did in fact receive a definitive subdivision approval to basically create a road so that we would have frontage for the commercial lot. I'm not going to go through that whole process, but you remember that we could not access commercial property over a driveway or an easement from River Street because the entire frontage would be in residential and you can't do that. So this board reviewed and approved that plan, and now we have that roadway. Katrina, is it possible just to put up the plan?
Yes, you have control though.
You gave me control of your, oh, I didn't know I had it. Okay. So basically, what ended up happening is you can see there is the Lima Way, which was just created. And here is, oops, here is the Hammerhead. And what it did create, are you moving it or am I?
I just made it larger. Is that good?
So basically, what you see is the rear lot that was created, which was lot 3. So with regard to this particular lot, if everybody recalls, we had always said we are not looking to do more than that which Mr. Lima had done before he was issued a cease and desist. And he was issued a cease and desist, quite frankly, because he didn't know he couldn't use his property and been using it for decades before. But once he got the cease and desist, he stopped and now is seeking this particular permit and the subdivision roadway. So as we had shown before, Mr. Lima is simply trying to use the areas that are already cleared. So if you will, this, I'm going to go through with the pointers. This area right here is directly behind his home, and this is one of the storage areas he's going to use. The next storage area is located off of the cul-de-sac and behind in this area right here. He's not
Jill,
even.
I don't know if anyone else can see your pointer. I cannot.
No, I can't
Oh,
see
you
it
said
either.
you shared the screen.
I'm
I
not seeing-
did.
I'm
All
not
right,
seeing
you
it.
know what?
And it says waiting for Jill Mann to control your screen up top. So go up to the top and see. Do you have to click on something?
I am
Or
trying
Click
every,
on my hand. Do you see my hand pointer on
Oh,
it right
yep.
now?
but you keep moving. Okay,
Grab it.
I'm trying. Believe it or not, I'm trying.
There we go. You've got it now.
I have it. Okay.
Yep.
So basically, here is the cul-de-sac. Here is the, and I apologize, the Hammerhead. Here is the one of the equipment storage yards, which is located completely behind, I apologize, within the commercial use area. And here it is, behind Mr. Lima's home, actually. And then the second area, which both of which will be fenced and or cordoned off, is right in this particular area. So basically, what they're trying to do is simply use the property as they always had. No further extension, no addition of any structures, which is what we had told you during the subdivision approval process. The intent was simply to do that which he had always done. So the first area, which is this area, is about 4,000 square feet. It's 3,900. It will be fenced in the areas that need to be fenced. So believe it or not, I don't know if you recall, but with regard to this particular equipment area, all along here, there's a berm. There's like a 4-foot berm. So the proposal is to put a fence along this part of the property, and then to put boulders around this part of the property so that Mr. Lima can actually quadrant it off from his house, but just put boulders instead of having a fence. And then on this side, he plans on having a fence and he'll keep the area fenced in. Then on this particular equipment storage yard, that one is a bit larger. It's about 8,200 square feet. And it will be a combination of fencing, berm, and boulders. Essentially, the purpose of trying to, I guess, create boundaries for these particular open space areas isn't necessarily simply to shelter them from screening, because this particular property, if you remember, is all treed. We're not proposing to cut down any of the existing trees, but rather to ensure that people only use those areas that have been permitted for outdoor storage. So that's what we intend to do, and that's the purpose of the boulders, berm, and fencing. And that's it. He's just trying to do what he told you he was going to when we were here for the subdivision approval. It's just outdoor storage of equipment.
Katrina, do we have any were there any public notice requirements to abutters?
No, there was not. There is a public notice requirement for the ZBA public hearing, which is going to be held July
Right.
23rd, but not for the planning board meeting.
And since
You're
this
just making a recommendation.
is merely a recommendation,
Right, and the planning board, if you want me to describe what your recommendation should be on, under section 9.5.8 of the zoning bylaw, you shall make a recommendation with regard to the provision of water, wastewater disposal, stormwater management, roadway and access design and construction, and the provision of other utilities.
okay.
This
Do we have-
particular,
Go ahead, Ms. Mann, go ahead.
particular project has very little of that, because all it is literally putting a fence around.
I think during the prior hearings, we did discuss what your plans were for stormwater. Do any other of the board members have any questions? Katrina, are they on board? Do they hear us?
Yep,
Yeah,
I think everyone
Yeah,
hears you.
I don't have any questions, Dave.
Thank you. I'll wait a second to see if anybody else does, and whether they're unmuting or not.
But Dave, I'm happy with the walkthrough and what we've seen.
Okay. Katrina, could you put the agenda back up?
Yep. And so you need to just ask for a motion to make a recommendation to the ZBA on this application.
Okay. And I realize this is just a recommendation, but for the record, we have no other member of the public except for Ms. Mann present within this Zoom public hearing during the COVID crisis, correct?
You have no other members of the public, right?
There's nobody else here, so we don't
Right.
really
It
have
isn't a public hearing either.
to invite the public anyway because it's just a recommendation, but
Right.
that would be moot since there's nobody else here at this moment, for the record.
Okay.
So do we have a recommendation with respect to 2630 River Street, Maria and Joaquin Lima, and their application for a special permit for outdoor storage and site plan review?
I'll make a motion to approve or to positively recommend to the ZBA for the special permit for outdoor storage and site plan review on 26 to 30 River Street.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, Dave, I'll second that.
Okay, so we'll take a vote on it. And we'll poll the members. Mr. Garber,
yes,
do you vote aye or yes?
aye, yep,
Mr. York,
Aye.
Mr. Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. Di Gregorio,
Aye.
and I vote aye. And
Thank
so
you
I
very
believe-
much. We appreciate your recommendation.
I believe that motion carries. Thank you.
And congratulations on the chairmanship, and welcome, Mr. Garber.
Yes, thank you.
Take care,
We're ready.
everyone.
We're right across the street from each other, so we might appear at the same time next time.
Oh, that's funny. That's right.
Yeah.
There you
So-
go. Fuller Pond's taking over.
Well, we're on average a little older, so maybe that's a good thing.
I love it. Take care. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye, Jill.
Bye-bye. Bye, Katrina.
So Katrina, it looks like we have a subdivision approval, not required, plan in front of us, do we?
Yes, we do. This is, I don't see anyone here. I did see that the owner of this had registered for the meeting, but I do not see him here. However, this is rather a simple A&R, and he's attempting, he lives on Averill Street, and he's got, let's see, 2 acres. He's got over 4 acres. He is breaking off his back parcel that includes this brook, and I believe that the Essex County Greenbelt is interested in purchasing it from him, which is a good thing. He's sick of paying taxes on land that he can't use, and so he wants to break it off. So this will not be a buildable lot. It'll be combined with adjacent land if it sells. If not, it'll never be built on. But he's breaking this off in an attempt to sell it to the abutter. So that leaves him with 81,286 square feet, which is more than adequate for this zone. This is in the R1B zone, which only requires 40,000 square feet.
That's a usable lot, but one of the things that you said was he was going to sell it, but he has not committed to selling it to a certain party, right?
Right.
So
But
is he-
it's not a buildable lot.
is he marking that on the open market?
See, there's a, let me see if I can zoom in on this note on the plan,
Yeah, it didn't look like it
Lot-
had any frontage.
is to be, oh, I need to get closer. What is it called? Lot 6B2 is to be combined with adjacent land of Essex County Greenbelt. It has no frontage. It is not a buildable lot. If he was trying to break this off to make it a buildable lot, you could deny endorsement because it's a subdivision. He would have to extend the roadway to give it frontage. In this case, it's not a buildable lot. It's just being combined with the adjacent land, so it's fine to endorse this plan.
Yeah, so I see the interest of the general public is leaving this as sort of an orphan parcel that only can be sold to somebody who, or some entity that is going to preserve it as natural space.
Right.
Is there any other negatives to this that Katrina or any of the board members can think of?
Katrina, so this plan says to be combined with the other land. So is that now become part of the other land if this is approved? Or
No,
what
so-
happens if they don't accept it, the other party,
So-
and this plan says that on it?
The reason why we have plans is it's a way, they're recorded at the registry, and it's a way to describe the parcel, so then you can create a deed and you can actually exchange the land and transfer the land. So the plan doesn't do anything except describe on a plan the area that you want to transfer to someone else. So signing this plan doesn't transfer it. They could, even though it says it's to be combined, the deal could fall through and that lot could never be sold. The plan will still be recorded, but it does no harm.
Katrina, in the past, wasn't it required to be stamped on a lot like that, right on the plan, not a buildable lot?
So you can have notes like that put on it, not a buildable lot. In this case, they said that lot is to be combined with adjacent land of Essex County Greenbelt.
But it
That's
doesn't mention,
zero frontage, so it's clear that it's not a buildable lot.
I'd be more comfortable if it was stamped on the plan, not a buildable lot, or said somewhere on the plan, not a buildable lot.
Agreed.
Yeah, theoretically, couldn't he create an easement through his lot to this lot 66B2?
Right, but the building commissioner is very savvy and he would look at this and say, it's not a buildable lot.
Yeah.
He knows the law. He knows that if you want me to have him put a note on it, we can have him put a note on it.
So just subject,
Can I
subject
ask,
to,
would you motion to endorse it? Because you're not going to endorse it at this meeting, obviously. We're going to have to figure out how to endorse it. Can we make a vote to endorse the plan as one not requiring subdivision approval, conditional upon a note being added that lot 6B2 is not a buildable lot?
I would be okay with that.
Yep.
Just so he doesn't have to wait until, the August 12th meeting. Plus, you only have 21 days to act on these two.
Okay, can you put the agenda back up?
Yep.
Thank you. We have a motion for 11 Averill Road, owned by Howard Haynes, to approve his subdivision approval not required plan, to approve it as A&R not approved. I mean, not required, but subject to a condition that is not a buildable lot.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, who is the seconder there?
Brian Carroll.
Brian Carroll. All right, so I'll poll the board. Mr. Garber,
Aye.
Mr. York,
Aye.
and Mr. Di Gregorio,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
All right, great. Did you want to go on to the next item?
Yes, we do.
Do you want me to explain it?
Please. I didn't get a chance to take a look at that statute today.
Okay, so a lot of other towns have adopted this. For years and years, like when I worked for the city of Beverly back in the 80s and 90s, just the chairman signed the plans there. I thought that was the rule in every community, and I was surprised when I started working for smaller communities and I saw that every single member would sign the plans. Sometimes it takes a long time. For instance, the Ridgewood plans, I think there was over 20 sheets to that plan, and the members had to all come into the office and sign every single one of those sheets. It's just a time-saving thing to do is to authorize one person. It doesn't necessarily have to be the chairman. Could be someone that, finds it easy to come into the office and sign things. But for the most part, you'll be signing it right at the meeting. And so if you decide to take this vote, and I don't really care either way, I just thought that maybe the board would see this as something that would make it easier, especially during the pandemic, to sign plans. The motions are described right here, and you would first motion to authorize one person to sign on behalf of the board. This doesn't mean that the board doesn't vote on the plans, by the way. You all vote on the plan. It's just signing the plan will be one person. And after, if you do decide to take this vote, you can do the A&R, you can do the definitive subdivision, or you could do both. What I think I will do is the next page, get down there. You all have to sign it. This becomes difficult, of course. I could have you all try and come into the office, but maybe what I'll do is I will just send it out to every single person. I'll make copies of this, and then what will be sent into the Registry of Deeds is 7 of these pages, along with the first page. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear
Okay.
you. Yep.
So I guess what you
Mr.
need to do is discuss this and ask questions.
Mr. Chairman, I live pretty close to the office. So if you need somebody to be able to run down and do the signatures. I'm only 5-6 minutes away.
Do you work locally as well?
Yes, I work from home.
Well,
Nice.
does anybody see, any problem with not getting all these signatures? I'm a lawyer, so I would over-lawyer this thing 6 ways from Sunday. Notwithstanding, I know once business picks up again, I work in town. It's difficult for me to get back. Sometimes Katrina's emailing me when I was the chairperson pro tem, left and right. Where are you? We need you over here. Be honest. Do you see the need for the traditional way of signing this, or do you want to authorize, a single signature?
I'll just say, sometimes, as happened tonight, we asked for something to be changed on a plan, and I don't know if all the board members want to see that change and sign the amended plan. I don't know if it's a good road to go down.
Okay, so
For the record,
If-
hold on. For the record, that was Mr. Garber that was speaking, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
so if, say for instance, you took a vote on a plan and member A and B and C voted for and members D and E voted against, and you've authorized member E to be the signatory, he still signs it because the vote passed and you all endorsed it. And I guess if he really didn't want to sign it, you could all still sign the plan. I can't see that happening a lot because the board votes as a whole, and then once you have the vote, you all took part in that vote, whether it passes or fails.
So,
That wasn't the point I was making. I was making the point that some of the members will never see the final plan because we asked for changes, like what happened tonight on the A&R. We asked for a notation on it. If one person only signs the plan, then some of the members will never actually even see that final plan.
Well, Katrina, would you not be able to upload this kind of stuff after it's finalized?
Yep, I could upload it. This is probably the first time you've ever voted to endorse an A&R conditional upon a note being added. Usually you do wait for the note to be added. I'm happy that you actually decided to allow him to add a note conditional on your vote. So it doesn't, it just, if to have him come back next month would just be a pain for him.
yeah, but I guess, Katrina, my question is, I've not seen an instance in the last several years where we've had so much paperwork that granted, we've always been in, the library, but there hasn't, I can't recall the instance you were referring to where there were so many sheets of paper to sign. And typically,
Oh, no. This was in December of 2013 that you signed that plan. So there's not many cases at all.
yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up now is because it's difficult to sign plans. We're having difficulty signing plans during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's being driven around to everyone's house.
I think
Pandemic friendly.
so could we do an alternative, like in kind of in these pandemic times, make an accommodation to have one person sign, and then
Sure.
once we get back to normal business,
Or it's good for like 6 months or a year.
yeah,
Well,
and then
the
just
thing is, if you all want to sign it, even though you have authorized one person to sign it, you can all still sign it.
so I guess the other I guess question, Katrina, is does the town have like is there a way to like have DocuSign to like have everyone do it and then have one person come in and actually sign the physical like Mylar?
Why would you need DocuSign?
Well, I'm just saying that because that's a way for everyone to actually sign it electronically
Oh,
and agree to it, and then because I think we still need a wet signature on the Mylar.
okay, so there's always a letter. I always create a letter for every A&R plan that gets sent to the town clerk with the board's vote and how many members were present and what the vote was. So you still have a record that the board voted on it and what the vote was on it. And then, of course, with the definitive plan, there's a decision.
Katrina, this is Joe. If the board doesn't take this route, can the board still on an ad hoc basis authorize one member to sign at any given, on any given topic? No.
No, so this letter, if the board decides to vote this, it gets recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
No, my point was, if the board doesn't do this,
Mhm.
and we're in the pandemic for the next 6 months or whatever,
Yeah.
or forever, and on any given topic, the board says, we, nominate Brian Carroll to sign for the board, and, there's a motion to do that, and the board votes, and we didn't do this, right? Could one person sign those plans?
No,
Okay.
Katrina, it's Jeff
unless
Garber.
you voted to authorize him and then sent this into the Registry of Deeds, but that would be
I
it would take a
understand.
little time.
I understand. Yep.
Katrina, it's Jeff Garber. I have a question. But the way it stands now, do you just need a majority of the planning board to sign plans? Do you need all 5 to sign every plan?
A majority.
You need 3 people to sign a plan,
Mhm.
not 5. Not necessarily the chairman. Correct?
Right,
Okay.
right. My feelings won't be hurt if you don't adopt this. I just thought it would, it's kind of a modern way to do things. I thought the board may like it. And if you don't, it's fine. We'll still drive around the plans, because you do have the definitive plans to sign as of July 22nd. We'll be figuring out a way to get them around to the board.
I'm kind of
Katrina,
with,
I'm sorry for being maybe too nuanced, but could we have a resolution to do this while any public emergency exists?
You mean do this just during the pandemic?
Well, or any public emergency, alien invasion.
So you can change your mind on this at any time. So what if you authorized someone to sign and then that person left the board? You would have to send in another one. So you're just going to have to keep updating the Registry of Deeds on who you want to sign. So if you want to go back to the whole board, you're going to have to send in another letter saying, we changed our mind, we're going to go back to the whole board.
And what triggers you to know that?
Doesn't. The board just decides, right, Katrina? Yeah.
Right.
At any point.
Right. And it's not really, you would have to decide before an application came in, because it takes time to get this recorded.
Right. So it's on file, whatever we decide,
Mr.
if we do
Chairman.
this, it's on file at the registry until we change it. And,
Right.
and there's no trigger, trigger in it. It's just the registry is just going to put it in their files, if you will, and
Yep.
they're going to say, oh, it's okay. It's signed by Brian Carroll, and we have a piece of paper that says Brian Carroll can sign. Right. Yeah.
Right, you could do a trial run and say, let's try it for 6 months. If you don't like it, we will take another vote and then, I guess, authorize the full board to sign.
Well, I certainly support it during any declared public emergency by the governor of the Commonwealth.
Katrina, it's Jeff Garber. If Brian was appointed to sign plans, there was a approval and hearing that he completely missed for some reason, could he still sign that plan?
Mm-hmm, yep. Yeah, and so in case someone goes on an extended vacation or is sick, in that case, the whole board would sign the plans again, because you're going
Katrina
to
would basically
authorize a
tell,
person. Who just said something?
sorry, I was going to say that I'm kind of with Brian York on this, and that there need to be some limitations. So perhaps the board signs something like this, but then completely separate and internal to the board, there's a review every year or whatever that you want to do. Like you said, if you need to change a member because a member left or something
Right.
else.
I think, so the next item on the agenda is the signing of that Registry of Deeds signature form that you do every year in June. The Registry of Deeds asks to see all your beautiful signatures so they can compare it to plans that come in. And that's after this item, because I wasn't sure what the board was going to vote on this one, but I would think that they would want all your signatures anyway, and the chance that even if you did vote to authorize one person, that person wasn't available and you all ended up signing a plan. So you do revisit this on a yearly basis.
All right. Well, I would say if this is going to automatically come up or come up through initiative within the next year, this is probably a high time to do it during the pandemic. And I would certainly support that. You know, but I don't want to sign our rights away. I think we've caught mistakes in Mylars and things like that before at the time of signing. And correct me if I'm wrong, that we didn't. I think we have.
Yeah, I think the more eyes on, the better.
Yeah. I mean, are folks, you know, amenable to doing this right now because things are sort of crazy right now. And we do have to reduce contact, maybe 3 or 4 months there's a vaccine, and then we're saying, well, that was, we don't really need that, but I would certainly support it on a temporary basis.
How about this? How about I say it, I will put it in 6 months back on the agenda so you can talk about it, talk about whether or not you think it's going well or you feel like you need to be examining the plan when you're signing it. And so you're not waiting a whole year, but you just do it as a trial for 6 months.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I am too. Do you want to take a vote on it, Corinne? Can you put
So
it back
there's
up?
2 separate votes here, and it's all outlined on the sheet that I have up on the screen.
Okay.
And we don't have Joe Kitka voting on this, just Anthony.
Well, let's thank Joe Kikta for his participation this evening. Thank you. All right, so we have a vote on. Is there a motion for a properly noticed meeting on July 8th, 2020, for the Middleton Planning Board pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 41, 81P, vote to authorize that was Brian Carroll, to endorse on behalf of the board approval not required A&R plans under the aforementioned statute. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second on that motion?
I'd second it, but I don't know if I can if it's me, right?
You can second it.
Okay.
But
Okay,
it's a
I
good
second it.
indicator that it may not pass, though.
Okay. So we have, we're going to poll the board on a motion to send a letter to John L. O'Brien, Registrar, Southern Essex County Registry of Deeds, for at a properly noticed meeting on July 8th, 2020, the Middleton Planning Board pursuant to GL General Laws 41, 81P, voting to authorize Brian Carroll to endorse on behalf of the board approval not required A&R plans under the aforementioned statute. And I will now poll the board. Mr. Garber,
I vote no.
Mr. York,
Aye.
Mr. Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. DiGregorio,
I vote no.
and I vote aye.
And did you want to add that that's just for 6 months and that we'll revisit it again in 6 months?
Yes, yes,
Although,
yes. If anybody's vote changes under the language that Katrina just added, please indicate right now that their vote changes.
My vote changes. I'll vote aye for a 6-month temporary trial on this.
Okay.
I should make clear, you can't put that in this letter
Okay.
to the Registry of Deeds. We will just put it on our agenda in 6
Internally.
months.
Okay.
Okay, so that passed 4-1.
All right, the second item of business here. At the same meeting, the Middleton Planning Board, pursuant to General Laws 4181X, voted to authorize Brian Carroll to endorse on behalf of the board definitive subdivision plans under this statute, the aforementioned statute. And on condition that this only continue for the succeeding 6 months. I will now poll the planning board. Mr. Garber,
No,
Mr. York,
Aye.
Mr. Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. Di Gregorio,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
Okay, 4-1. All right, thank you.
And Katrina, if you could put it in your calendar, have that come up again in 6 months.
Yep. Hopefully we are back meeting at the Fuller Meadow.
Yeah, I think by then.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Okay, so the next item on the agenda, and I don't know if you all looked in the Google Drive. I don't know why I didn't put it up here. I wish I had it. It's just a signature. So basically, I don't even really have to put this on the agenda. Usually what I do is I bring it to the meeting and you all just give me your signatures on it. So what I will do is I will be sending this out to you so that you're aware that it's going to come to your house. When you get it, you can either bring it into the office and drop it off or send it back. And what we'll do is we'll include a self-addressed stamped envelope in there so that you can just pop it back in the mail. Is that what everyone would like to do? Or would you rather drop it back off?
Do you need the actual wedding signature, or can we scan it and send it back?
No, it has to be a real signature. Wet.
Okay.
So you want me to just send it to you and you can send it back, or do you want to drop it off at the office? How do you want to do this?
And we don't all need to sign the same form, right? Katrina, each of our signatures can be on a separate form.
I'm going to send out 7 of these, and I'm going to send 7 into the Registry of Deeds, just because that's the way
Right.
it's.
Katrina, if you could just put it, if you have an envelope that we can just use to drop it in the town Dropbox at
You want a town hall or DPW?
the town hall.
Okay, DPW would be better. Can you drop it at the DPW building?
I'd have to find out where DPW is.
That's my office building. It's next to the electric company, Middleton Electric, up on 114.
Yeah, I could probably make it there too.
They have a Dropbox there too.
Yeah,
If you send it to town hall, it may get put in a cabinet somewhere there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Maybe you should put a stamp on it, and I'll turn
Okay.
it back that way.
All right, so I'm going to put Saisies in all of these. And I'll send them out to you. I will also be sending you what you just voted on right here, because there is a signature page. So I'll be sending this out to everyone, and you can send that back with your signature also. And that's all I have.
There's no other business that was not anticipated.
There is none. I do anticipate, though, before your next meeting, you're going to be asked to, or Brian Carroll will be asked to sign the definitive plans for 26 to 30 River Street. So I'll reach out to him. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a PDF of the plans to everyone before they're signed. Okay?
Okay. And this motion does not need a second. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I'm gaveling it down. No further business. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Off the recording.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Good night.
Guys.
guys.
Good night.
Stop the recording.
Thank you. Have a great evening.